Yeah, and that my friend, we did one deal like this. I made some money. So I used some to buy suya and the rest I used it to play football bet.
How much are you expecting this time?
Small money. 2 million. Pray, oh. Pray for me, my darling. Because if I win that money, all my games are green. Hey! I will take you to Hong Kong.
I don't want to go to Hong Kong. I want to go to London.
Amata is a filmmaker, a lover of the arts of liberal thinking and creativity. Amata is a filmmaker. Today he's the president of the Directors Guild of Nigeria, but that's only for a short while. In totality, Amata, again, filmmaker, young man born into, as we say, a legacy of creativity because of the antecedents of my father. But I like to see myself as a filmmaker. It's a question that gives you too much latitude for conceit. What do I have that is unique from the others? I don't think so. I think we are blessed in the Amata family with a lot of insight, intellect, and creativity. I think I'm not one of the most intelligent in the Amata family. We have Zach Amata, his son Jet Amata, my son Reva Amata. Those are the outstanding ones, I think. So it's not. I can't place something. I can't unless it would be a character. A character position. I am more tolerant, more accommodating, more than any of the others, I think. My father is a filmmaker, playwright, and a thinker. And he ran, apart from, he was also a lecturer, he ran a theater group. And he was principal of several secondary schools where he encouraged a lot of students to become interested in acting. So when I was about 8 years old, or 6, I'm not too sure, I climbed the stage for the first time acting in one of my father's plays called The Chosen One, I think. And The Chosen One, a play about King Solomon and an allegory of Jesus Christ and those who are chosen. So we all my part was to bring gifts to the king who had come, and I've never forgotten it since I was a kid. That first role, I still remember my part. It was a singing role. I can sing it if you want. It was Osiris, 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 just now we have come to do your bidding, Osiris, just now, and I had to present. I bring you. Was it Mai or frankincense? I can't remember, something like that. That's when I consciously remember I first started acting. Through the years, I did a lot of nativity plays with children when I was a teenager, with my colleagues, my mates. I used to put nativity plays, the story of the birth of Jesus Christ, the story of the death of Jesus Christ. And we used to put all those together, and I would go into my father's closet and steal all his costumes and adorn my friends with the costumes. And we'd have this colorful show every Christmas, every Easter. And then I went to the University of Jos to study theater arts, graduated in '86, and was thrown straight to do my youth service in NTA. At this point in time, I didn't want to continue as an actor. I wanted to work in the oil sector, and I had been struggling and trying everything we could. In those days, you could influence where you were posted to. And I thought, yes, I finally got posted to Lagos, and I was happy I was in Lagos. So I was looking for NNPC, but they posted me to NTA, and my television career took off, because in less than 2 years, I was already directing a soap for national television. And in those years, in the 80s, a director directing for national television had to be working as a top staff in NTA from level 10 up before you could actually be given that slot. So it was a time when independent productions were just coming in, and here was this student barely out of university taking on a huge role directing a soap opera, Ripples. So we directed soap opera for that time, and then this was between 88 and 91. I directed Ripples for like 3 years. National television became a phenomenon. By 93, Living in Bondage had come out, and the industry had taken off. I did my first film in 97 or so, but over the years, no, in 93, The Fire and the Glory, 94, and then Mortal Inheritance was in 1997, where I won Best Actor. So I'm actor-director. I've already mentioned my mentor is my father, John Ifogali Amata. In 1957, my father released the first, what we generally refer to as the first ever color film in West Africa, if not in Africa. It had a cast of over 1,000. It was a propagandist film, and it was shown all over the world, translated into 130 languages. And I grew up as a little boy wanting to be like Daddy, as I saw him striding across the screen. In those days, there used to be this great cowboy actor, John Wayne, that all the young men were crazy about. So when all my mates were going, John Wayne, John Wayne, John Wayne, I was going, John Amata, John Amata, John Amata. So yes, and he was a filmmaker. He was a theater artist. He gathered the team together and always used to direct. And so I wanted to be like Daddy, totally, completely like Daddy. And then to buttress it further, my elder brother Zach Amata told the same line. And I was barely out of secondary school when I was seeing my brother all over, and incidentally, in First Act 77, Zach had done a stage play, because he also studied theatre arts, or I think he had done Ovarame, the stage play, and he had played the Oba, and his picture, dressed in the complete regalia of the Oba of Benin, and became almost like the official postcard of First Act 77. So you can imagine what it was like for a little boy in those days, where pictures were rare and scarce, where good quality pictures were imagine people used to take pictures to just send message all across the world. That's how valuable pictures were then, and you could see your brother on a postcard. I just wanted to be like all of that. That was my inspiration, really. I would say I'm one of the directors in the early development of Nollywood who impacted a lot on many directors. So all the directors you'll be hearing about in the past few years before this new wave had worked under me. People like Teko Benson, Namaka Igwe, Chico Ejiro, they all had been my assistants before. Adim Williams, Tichidi Chikere, and a lot of them, I've touched on, a lot of them worked under me, and a lot benefited from my should I say, my style, my approach, then you know that a lot of work done in those early years were more experimental and creative, trying to understand the path through which we could develop a concept that adequately captured our stories. And then those early years, I'm sure there was a lot of impact or influence on all those people. As a director, I would say I haven't done that, my job that I call my signature job. But over the years, I've gathered a lot of accolades from different films I've done, different times and different challenges. Anini was an engaging one. We did that, I can't remember the year now. And we shot entirely in Benin. There was Letters to a Stranger, which broke new grounds. I particularly like my film Dust to Dust. It was one of the earliest films done, changing the narrative and style of filmmaking. It was an instant hit. Then I've been involved in some international projects with another one of the Amatas, Jetta Amata. I've done several projects really. There was The Amazing Grace that was shot on celluloid. There was Black November, which I thought was the true breakthrough of Nigerian film into the international market. The only film so far, I think, in Nigeria that has been critiqued by the biggest, the highest regarded critics in the world, in America. I guess so, but that's it. Meticulousness of the filmmakers then, who knew that, look, if I do not do this well, it cannot come out well. It took you double the time to achieve. Now, and today, where if you follow strict rules for application of the technology, you achieve, and everything is easier now. Yet, so now more technical depth is required. Yet, I think what filmmaking really should be, what a director should be, is more artistic than technical. The technology is to support you to tell your story. So you use the technology to tell your story. You do not tell your story because of technology.
Why?
Jaboski.
Imagine
Jaboski, you won't kill me.
Liverpool.
Jaboski, you won't kill me. You won't kill me. You won't kill me. Jaboski, you won't kill me. Huh? You won't kill me. Take my wife.
Me kill you.
Jaboski,
Me kill you. I been wish. When I want save your life.
You want save my life. Now go give me concussion. Bad medicine make I drink.
Well, I think it's a road predestined. When I first ran, I was not even running. I didn't have any competition. There was no, I was virtually unopposed. Things happened, tables turned in 3 or 4 days that I was out of the country, and it changed. So, predestined. Second time was funnier. I was running against Adi Amenechi, who I've taken over from now, and I came with confidence and assuredness that this was it. I believe that the power of my ideas, the innovations I was introducing would capture the guild. But I did not understand that there were also political implications. The politicians got better of me and woke up some clauses in the constitution and managed to very narrowly take it away from me. About, I can't remember exactly, it was too startled to remember the exact figures. But yes, that was very challenging for me. I thought I'd done it all. I thought I was definitely going to win, but it didn't happen. And then the last one, this was where I won. I thought, whatever, bro. I've tried. I've done it. I've run a good race. I've done everything. Again, I've put my experience, my years of experience on the table. I've put my ideas for progress on the table. So I really expected that a more knowing populace of the guild will toe the line, and then politics came in again. It was a very narrowly won victory, but we won, and we give God the glory. To me, it's another filmmaker. But the truth about the matter is that Zebejiro is the fulcrum, the starting point, the impetus of Nollywood today. Zebejiro, it could have been Lola Fani-Kayode, but Lola Fani-Kayode did not continue. Why am I calling Lola Fani-Kayode? These were independent producers who, in an era of choked rules and regulations, could not get their work on air. The only channels that were available were government-owned TV stations. Soon, by the time private television started coming on, Zebejiro had evolved an army of filmmakers, actors, directors, writers, because they had worked and gained experience like me. When I said I started directing 2 years after, I was directing Zebejiro's Ripples. So Zebejiro is a fulcrum now. So when Checkmate came on after Ripples, it built on the success of Ripples, and Living in Bondage, the first officially acclaimed home video, depended a lot on actors from Checkmate and a few others from Ripples like Kanayo. So Zeb's influence, Zeb's was a word that pushes, that promotes the eagerness, the urge, the confidence, the aspiration to go into this area that was looked on then as an area for never-do-wells, for dropouts. In my career, I was told, you went to study theatre arts, you will suffer, you will so Gary. That was the mentality of the people coming behind. Zebejiro, at this point in time, went into this industry with not a whole lot of understanding, but he developed himself. And today, a whole lot can be traced back to those early beginnings of Ripples that let people know that it is possible for an independent producer to have a television production on a station as biased, as what's the word? Old word. Were old ways, as NTA was in those years. The title given to him, Zebejiro the Sheikh, Albert being complimentary, actually represents the influence that he wielded upon the industry in the early formative years. Hi, have you watched Nollywood Untold stories? That gives you the whole gist, the juicy history of where Nollywood is coming from. This is Nollywood Untold. Yes, I love Nollywood.